It's C-Doc again.
Yes, indeed. It is Tuesday night. Welcome to the show. My name is C-Doc. Don Key, OMG. I don't know what you're OMGing about, but good to see you, bro, in the chat. We have a wonderful guest tonight. A guy that has worked on some of my all-time favorite albums and more. We'll talk about that. Oh, on time. Okay. But first, let's bring in the co-hosts, the cohorts, the co-conspirators. First up, she got her start in classic rap radio. Our lady from the heyday of K-Day, Jennifer O. Jenny.
Or Kenny, whatever that is.
I got ahead of myself. I started to go for the Jenny, and I was still on the K-Day, and goofed.
Kenny, K-Day, same thing. Whatever.
Kenny K-Day.
There should have been somebody there named
Right?
Kenny.
Exactly. Damn.
There should have.
Yep. How are you, Jennifer?
I'm melting, but I'm fine.
Hot.
How about you?
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot here today. Got up to 90, 91.
Oh, boo-hoo.
That's hot for
It's 92 right now.
Oh,
here.
Yeah, well, you're also 3 hours behind, so you know it's still 6 o'clock where you're at.
Yep, it is.
So, also joining us, he sweats like the best of them. He also has one of the best Instagram accounts there is. If you don't follow him, you're a sucker, ladies and gentlemen. The Culture Clip King, Ultramag 7.
What's up, y'all?
Yo.
I used to get my shoes from Kenny's shoes back in the day.
They weren't Buster Browns.
I used to have some Buster Browns, Kenny's, bunch of different shoe places.
Yep.
But I think I got all y'all beat. It was 97 today, so I don't know what the hell y'all talking about.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's 97.
I don't feel so bad then. Jeez.
I'm telling you, it's
Bro.
and the difference is on the East Coast we got that humidity. That's a whole different.
That's so brutal.
My uncle was here a couple weeks ago from I think he lives in Orange County, and he was saying it's nice and everything, but he was like the humidity is just crazy. What's
Yo.
show tomorrow. Oh, well, tomorrow may never come. I'm dealing with now.
Yeah. Talking about today.
Tomorrow may never come.
Right. Talking about today.
Anyway, what's up, y'all?
How are you, sir?
I'm chilling. I'm good.
Any hip hop mail this week?
You know what? And I don't have my props or nothing. No hip hop mail, but I encourage everyone to go listen to that new Dip Diver album. I still haven't put together. I did an unboxing, and I still haven't put the video out because I was trying to give them a week to get all that, all their stuff that they're doing. I didn't want to overshadow them, but I think this week I got to put out my unboxing video to show. I showed you guys last week, but I did the actual unboxing when I, originally first opened it. So
nice.
Yep.
Also, I want to shout out Dylan because our man Dylan had a sneak preview listening party of his new album with Bat Sauce. It drops Friday, I believe. So if you like Dylan, check that out. They got the joint with Grand Poobah. That Flatline played on his show tonight.
Charts.
We'll run down that list later on, but our guest is here, so why waste time? Ladies and gentlemen, a musician that has played on some of your favorite hip hop records. If they're not your favorites, you have terrible taste. But yeah, anyway, let's bring him on. Daryl JMD Moore. JMD in the house. Welcome
What's
to the show.
happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Jam Messenger D.
Hey, what's up, Ultra Mag 7, man? I'm a fan.
Thank you,
Yeah.
brother. I'm a fan of you also, so thank you.
Man, I see those videos. They take me places, man. You gotta expose me to the magic, man, because I don't know how you do it, man. But yo, I love it, man. Big time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. What's up, C Doc? And Jennifer O'Jetty from the OG K Dizzy.
Exactly.
Yep. So,
yeah, LA's own.
Vashawn in the house. What up, bro?
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, Vashawn, what's up? One of my favorite. I'm trying to make this dude direct some movies because he knows more about movies than anybody I know.
He and I have had many conversations. Yes.
Man, get behind the camera, Vashawn. What's up, homie? And I'm also a big fan of his dad. I used to follow the Lockers around when I was in high school. I was dancing and playing at the same time. They were something else. Him, Fluky Rook, Penguin, Don Campbell. Big time fan of the Lockers and his dad.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that, shall we? When did you get into hip hop, Jay?
Well, like everybody else, when Rapper's Delight came out, that was hip hop culture. But I've been into rap long before that. Rap predates hip hop, so. I heard rap with Pigmeat Markham back in the 70s, you know what I mean? And of course, the Watts Prophets and the Last Poets, Father MD has been a mentor of mine since the day I met him, you know what I mean? He put me up on things that I would have never known how to exist in that world of rap. Also to understand hip hop culture. The young kids showed me about the culture of hip hop, but I always been down with rap. You know what I mean? Hip hop culture came about for me just like everybody else. Rapper's Delight. You know what I mean?
When did you start playing the drums?
Oh, well, shoot, man. When I was a baby, they bought me some little toy drums, and I tore them up real soon. Then by the time I got to be, I think, 11 or 12, my mom had bought Sly and the Family Stone Stand album.
Yeah.
And there was a joint on there called Sex Machine, not to be confused with James Brown's Sex Machine. And it had a solo at the end, a drum solo that just by Greg Errico, which just blew my mind. Literally, they said it at the end. We blew your mind. And they did. So I would play on telephone books on my bed. They were set up like drums, and I had some wooden spoons, and I would try and do that solo like Greg Errico. And I'd never owned any drums at that point. And a neighbor of mine across the street had drums. He was a grown man. I was a little kid. And when I would hear him practice, I would go sit on his porch because I wasn't cool enough to go in with this grown man with a low rider and all of that. You know what I mean? Brother named Reuben Hall. He's responsible for me to even, the first time I ever touched the drums, I was sitting on the porch and he's like, man, every time I'm playing, you sitting on the porch, come in the house and you can watch. And so I watched him for practice for months. He would never let me touch the drums. So one day he got up to go answer the door and I'm like, man, I've watched this dude play this beat over and over for months. Now's my chance. And he's just going to have to kick my butt. So I just snuck and ran up on the drums and I sat down and I played exactly what he played without ever touching the drums. And he just came back with this look on his face like, dang, okay, I'll tell you what. You wash my car and I'll let you play for 5 minutes every week. I'd be out there rubbing the hell out of that Riviera, boy. I'm cleaning it. That's good. Just for 5 minutes to go touch his drum. So, and then later on, my mom helped me get my first kit with blue chip stamps. I don't know if y'all know anything about that. I see Jenny knows what's happening. Instead of giving you your change when you go shopping, they give you part of your change and then they give you some stamps, and then you put them in a book, and then you can go to this store that had a catalog of all of these items from everything you can imagine. So they had a sparkle blue drum set, and very cheap. I didn't know it's made in China or something, but it was blue and it had sparkles and it was cool. So I must have licked about 500 books, and nobody told me I could have just wet the stamps with a sponge. I could still taste that glue.
And the books were all like this, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, wobbly. And, oh, yeah. And so the blue chip stamp store was in Compton. So I went to the blue chip stamp store with a stack of books, and it still wasn't enough. My mom put up the rest of the money. That was my first drum set. I got that one in 1976. My first drum set, real drum set. But it was really cheap though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And did you? So you started practicing, I'm assuming, and then when did you start playing? Like for real?
I started playing with records. That's how we used to practice back there. Everybody had instruments in my day. So like these kids, they just got the internet and a phone.
Yeah. Like
when you was at school, you could pick out an instrument. You was expected to be in band. Everybody played something, a trumpet or clarinet, something. It just started in grammar school all the way through junior high. And the problem was everybody wanted to be a drummer. You know what I mean? And so you go there, I'm a drummer. Like, no, here's a trombone, fool. You know, so I dropped out of band quickly, and I just started playing in the garage along with Al Green records, James Brown records, stuff like that with an 8-track. I had an 8-track cassette player in the garage with some speakers. So I'd be in there like, let's stay together. Or, just with the 8-track, and then it stop, and you have to wait for it to flip, and then you pick up on the beat. Right. Craziness. But that's how we did it. And then after you practice playing with your favorite songs, the kid I grew up on 137th, a couple of guys on 138th. This guy had a bass. This dude down the street had guitar. This dude played trumpet. And then we go from being in your garage, you go over to their garage, and now you got a band. And you're playing all of the stuff you hear on KGFJ. They didn't have KJ back in the day. It was KGFJ with the Magnificent Montague was the source for all black music coming up in LA during that time in the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah.
There wasn't no FM radio. That was some new science. That was like when FM hit, everybody, oh my God. It was like FM radio was the internet,
Right. Right. So what was your first band?
It was called Latifah. Before Queen Latifah, the first band I had was called Latifah.
Wow.
As we played and that band happened when I got into 10th grade, and I started meeting kids that were a little bit more rounded and could play their instruments. I went to high school with kids like Paul Jackson Jr., who played with the Jacksons, and Patrice Rushen, and made all of these records. He's a thing, Paul Jackson.
Yeah.
The O'Neill brothers, Brian and Kevin O'Neill, they were playing. They had a funk bands, and my band, we wanted to play all the records that was on the radio. You had to play every record that was on the radio, but we concentrated on Earth, Wind, and Fire's music, the early Earth, Wind, and Fire, because their musicianship was just like crazy, like Gratitude. we had to play that whole album. That was the holy grail for us. And then when George Clinton came up, then we just quickly went with the funk. And then the Commodores came up. We was playing Zoom. We was, so that time between, I graduated in 78, so 75 to 78, everything for those years within the funk, Boosie's Rubber Band, all of that stuff, we were playing that. But I regress that I had to go back and, say that in my household, my mother played everything. She played everything. My sister loved the Jackson 5. My dad loved jazz. So I was getting educated on jazz. It was just pops music to me. It's what my pops played. But he was from Memphis, so he would be playing Isaac Hayes and all of that stuff. And, the first concert we ever went to, my mom took us to the Forum. He took me to see the Ohio Player because I love the Ohio Players and the drummer Diamond and War, because War was like from Long Beach and they would rehearse in my neighborhood. They rehearse over in my cousin's neighborhood in Carson, and they were accessible because they played at Jeffy's Eves After Dark, which is in my neighborhood in Compton where Dre and all of them started. You know what I mean? So we started playing all of that music, all of this. It wasn't no discrimination in black music. It was just black music. It was just what you grew up on. You know what I mean? So you be getting educated in all of these other styles. But the first concert we went to, like I said, was the Ohio Players, but they had some little boy band open them up for them called the Jackson 5 or somebody like that.
Some little boy band.
And then fools tore it up. They tore it up. My sister was going crazy. All the little girls, and I was trying to be cool, but I got damn these fools. They young as me. Michael was probably a few months older than me. You know what I mean? And I'm seeing this little dynamic fool tearing it up on the mic, dancing. And like they had their cousin in the band at that time. Tito was really playing guitar. Jermaine was really playing bass. And Johnny Johnson was the drummer. And they was murdering it, but but the Ohio Players still years above, musicianship wise, you know what I'm saying? But it was amazing to see kids my age doing what they're doing, seeing Michael and Marlon. I'm like, well, shit, I can do this. You know what I mean? I should be able to, but no, I couldn't. You know what I mean?
So what did you do when you got out of high school then? What was the next step?
Oh, man, the next step was getting a job. I told my mom I wanted to be a professional musician. She said, boy, you better get a real job. So, I'd always excelled I was a terrible student. The only thing I cared about was shop classes and band classes. Forget about English, math, all that stuff. I worked on cars. I built stuff out of woods. I made things out of metal. I ran lathe machines, milling machines. Can you imagine being 13 years old and you're in metal shop in junior high and you get to melt aluminum and pick it up in a big pot and pour it into a mold? You can't imagine no kids doing that now. Are you crazy? Yeah. But that's what we did.
Yeah.
And work on your own car in high school. So naturally, I felt I was going to be a mechanic or a machinist. So I started looking for a job doing that. And my mom told me, a cousin of mine told her that they were hiring at Northrop. So I went to training at Northrop. If you survive that 2 weeks training at Northrop, then you get some more training, then they put you in the shop. And so I started that straight out of high school in 1978, and I've been an aircraft mechanic ever since then. So I've worked on every Boeing aircraft you can imagine. I've worked on military, I worked on helicopters, fighter jets, Lockheed. I built the first 5 FA-17 stealth fighters.
Wow.
But all while doing that, I would play music on the weekends. So I did that job You know, I moved out of my house, got my own place, went to work, come home and practice, have jam sessions at my house with all the cats I went to school with, keep people from that I kept meeting. I would do gigs on the weekend. I would actually even got fortunate enough to play with some blues greats on the weekends, doing those kind of, as a young buck, learning from, what's the cat's name? Lowell Fulsom,
Wow.
people like the guy who did Tramp,
Yeah.
I went out with him and Sonny Green, and then sneaking out when we was in high school. I always had a little mustache, so I could sneak in the clubs. I used to sneak into the Baked Potato to see Patrice Rushen with her band that had Lee Ritenour, Ernie Watts, Abe Laboriel, Harvey Mason on drums, who was a god to me because he played on all the records. He was the drummer during the 70s. And, Ernie Watts, saxophone player. So, and then getting training from great R&B cats that played at the Five Torches on the corner of Crenshaw and Imperial. The drummers, two great drummers in that band. One of them wanted to be the lead singer. He didn't want to play drums. And the other drummer would get tired. He's like, young player, come up here and play. And he would just go holler at some girls, whatever. And yes, sir, I'll get up there. You and I get together since this lipstick night. That's right. Playing Rick James stuff and all of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got my training, on the job training, in the nightclubs. It didn't make no money. You know what I mean? But I got to play. I made my own money, working on airplanes. But every weekend I'm in the clubs, even during the weeknights, every jam session I can go to.
Wow. That's so dope.
That's the only way. I mean, because I couldn't go to college. A lot of people, dudes went to college and they came back. They could read, sight read, and do all that, but they didn't have a stank on them. I had to go get the stank. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you'd be up in the club with these OGs, they correct you really quick. You know what I mean? If you was lacking in something, or if you wasn't paying attention, you could get hurt. You know what I mean? Right. There's that kind of clubs, the bucket of bloods is a real deal. You know what I mean? I came up like those Delta dudes, you know what I mean? In LA, there's a whole underground of blues and R&B you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe. You know what I mean? Pistol carrying pimps. Right. You know what I mean? Like, some fools that'll hurt you. You know what I'm saying? So, and the crowd's spending their money, you had to play like the record. That means every feel, if you play Al Green, is doom-dacka-doom. That's it. If you playing, whatever, you gonna sound like the record player. And if some new stuff come out during the week, you better have it before the weekend. So if you listen to the radio and some Frankie Beverly and Mays come up, you better be joy, pain. You better hit it. It's be the same tempo, same accents, but then on top of that, you had to play dynamics by watching the singer, because he'd give you signs to break it down, or signs with going to the bridge or whatever. So, like I said, I learned on the sidewalk. I graduated from the streets in everything I've done: jazz, hip hop, R&B, reggae, street.
Yeah. Yep. So when was the first time that you went into the studio to record?
First time I went in the studio, my high school teacher took us there, because my high school teacher was a triple OG named Little Willie Hoskins. And all the high school teachers back then, the black ones, knew each other, and there was a competition. See, in LA, Locke was always number one. Locke High with Reggie Andrews. Reggie Andrews turned out more musicians than anybody, from Terrace Martin all the way back to Patrice Rushen and Ndugu, Kamasi Washington, Fritz Wise, many, many great musicians.
Right.
My band director, Willie Hoskins, turned out myself, the Bus Boys, Paul Jackson Jr., Kipper Jones, a lot of cats like that. Mr. Sears was at guy, Manual Arts. So we'd always battle each other. You know, these bands would battle. You know what I mean? So we was in direct Crenshaw High had Leon Johnson, bad bass player. You know, Tracy went there, Ice-T. A lot of good musicians. You know what I mean? So, you know, everybody knew everybody else. Oh, that's that drummer from Gardena. Oh, that's that drummer from Inglewood. The Oregon brothers from Inglewood, really bad players that play with Janet and Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? So LA was a hotbed for young musicians from the early 70s up until probably like 82, after Ronald Reagan kind of killed the bands in school.
Yeah.
That's when hip hop started taking. Ronald Reagan deserves a lot of credit for starting hip hop amongst musicians, because there was no more music education really.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? No more band really. It was over with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Killed those programs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he killed it all. Even mechanics like myself, like everything I started learning in the 7th grade through the 12th grade, I had to go to junior college to take all of those shop classes and pay a gang of money.
Wow.
You know what I mean? PCC is the only place you can go learn to be a machinist or do all the stuff I learned with wood shop and metal shop, machine shop, drafting, where you learn how to read blueprints, radio shop. I can make a radio out of some wires and a couple of nails. You know what I mean? So, and soldering, all that stuff I use. Everything I am today, I started learning in junior high school. And for free.
Right.
Free. You know what I'm saying? So it's, you know, the government's fault right now that these kids is coming out of there not knowing that. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, like, I wasn't good at math and English and all that, but I could multiply and divide and add. That's all I needed to do to be a mechanic. Didn't need algebra. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't need to know a whole bunch of English and stuff, but guess what? I've been employed ever since I walked across that stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I just came up with a good time, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. All right. So we got to talk about, I got it here, but
What is that?
we got to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, that was cool, man. Shout out to my man Fat Lip. Without him, that probably would have never happened. It starts with the good life. Everything starts at the good life.
Yeah.
And before I get to starting at the good life, I have to tell you how I got to the good life. I moved to New York in 1989 because I wanted to do hip hop and jazz. I wanted it to be purely improvisational. I had met some people in LA, like Dr. Geek. He was the first person I ever heard freestyle. And he was the dude with the sombrero that did the commercial for Blue Blockers. But he would get your blue blockers. Yeah, look up Dr. Geek. He used to rhyme at Raiders games and he would rhyme at the beach. And I was like, he's making it up on the spot. So I moved to New York to meet KRS-One. When I finally met him, he kind of dissed me and gave me a wrong number. I told him what I was trying to do. And then all during 89, when I was there, I couldn't find hip hop. I went to where De La recorded. I was scouring the city. Every night I would go looking for something or working and playing, you know, but it just seemed like it just vanished for me while I was there. So I came back home at the end of 89, and someone had told me about this restaurant where they were doing hip hop, and they had some really dope MCs, and it was called The Good Life. I went there. So I saw this tall, wiry kid with some curly hair, and he started rapping over djembe drums, but this fool was flowing like I never heard it. This dude, where he come from? And that was Microphone Mike, who became Mike and Nine. And
Woo.
then I was there every Thursday. I didn't miss a Thursday. I met every MC. They were all good. Everybody had a special thing. Didn't everybody had their own style, even though they were influenced by each other. The Far Side came through there, and this is a couple of years in, like in '92, about like after 2 years of going through the Good Life, and they had got signed. People were starting to get signed out of the Good Life.
Yeah.
Freestyle Fellowship had got signed, and Volume 10 had got signed. So the Far Side got hooked up with a house over here off of Adams near Buttonlawn called the Far Side Manor. And we would go there to have freestyle sessions after the Good Life was over. And, because the afterlife, which would take place in the parking lot, sometimes it could get a little rowdy with the battles out there. Like, with 2,000 Crows came out there and everybody's battling, you know what I mean? And, I have some moments out there myself where could have went pretty bad. But anyway, so the Far Side Manor was a nice place to go where these kids could feel like adults because they're kids and they all had rooms. It was like a big old house. This 2-story house with about 5 or 6 bedrooms and a living room. So I take my drums over there, and one of my earliest teachers in hip hop, Mark Love, would DJ. So in between him and I, he'd be DJing, people would be rattling or rapping and stuff, but rapping over the beats. But things would change once I started playing drums. It went to another level because I would do things to trip people up. I would change time signatures, and they didn't know anything about time signatures. They'd hear boom bap and shit in 4. So I, go, let me throw a shuffle in there. Let me go into 6/8. Let me play a 7. Let me play a 9. And they would get into it and they could do it and they would hear it. And, and naturally, because they would still hear the 2 and 4, but then they would hear the pulse of where you start the 1.
Yeah.
If you're playing like 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or if you're playing 6/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Which is like 6/4s. It's kind of like 3/4s, like the same thing, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they could see the similarities, but then it would open them up lyrically and open up their flows. So, we would do that. And so I started working on the Fellowships album first. And then as that's going, the Far Side is working on their album. We did the Fellowships album so damn fast. I really wish we had as much time as the Far Side. They took their time, but Fat Lip called me and he said, "Hey man, I want you to play over this track I'm doing. It's called Skinny White Bitch. It's about cigarette smoking." So he said, come over to the studio. So grab my drums, go over there. By that time I'm in like full mode because I've been playing with everybody. Everybody know what I do. So it's cool. So they pull up the track. I played on the track. The track never got used, but I played on it. And the engineer was there and the drums were set up and Bud was going around and dudes was like, Eric Surfin, the engineer, he put in a DAT tape. And he said, "Hey, y'all go on the booth. Let's do some freestyle shit like what we was doing over at the Far Side." Man, I'm like, "All right, cool, shit," because I already knocked out that one tune. So we started doing it, and it just started growing. First, it was just them. Then they get on the phone, call. Then somebody else show. Here come Buckwheat. Then they come on the phone. Here come Peace. Here come, a whole bunch of rappers, and here come Alfalfa. We actually, there's probably about 4 hours worth of freestyle. going to that about 4 hours easily of dats. And you know, Jay Swift got on the piano. They mic'd at the piano, and he and I started playing. And that's how those skits got. I don't even remember how all that, because nothing was rehearsed. You know, when Quentin came, it was like they was running along, bud. They called Quentin. Quentin came with the weed, and they was really happy. They were like, Quentin, and we did it. All of that is a freestyle. There's none of that is written, thought out, or anything. And then when Quentin came in the booth, he started trying to rhyme and shit. That's how they took that little part, you know, that he rhymed on. But there's some thing. DJ Newmark released one of the freestyles that had Peace on it. And Peace was freestyling about what happened when we went to New York, when the Fellowship first went to New York and performed in New York. They started throwing shit up on the stage, you know, because like Fellowship was used to rapping with bands. Yeah, they were not scared of bands. Me and Kilu was there, right? So they had a bad band, because when I was living in New York in '89, I was part of the Black Rock Coalition. So I knew Vernon Reed and all of those people, Michelle and Degelcello, all of them groups that came out of there. That was my friends. So, they had the band with Michelle on bass. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I told them, y'all should rap with the band. Show these fools what's really going on. So they started rapping with the band. Ganja K was there, may he rest in peace. And it was Ganja K and Freestyle Fellowship with the BRC band. And, you know, I'm standing off to the side of the stage. I'm on stage, but I'm off to the side. And everybody's rhyming. And they killing it, right? But some fools was getting irritated because they wanted to hear beats. And there's two levels. It was like a balcony and a lower level. People started showing shit off the balcony down on the stage. Wow. And Peace, all 16 years old, 16-year-old Peace, one of the most amazing MCs ever, most amazing freestylers ever. He just killed the band. Hold up. He stopped the band, shit going down on stage. He said, my name is MCPEACE. I come from the land where the Bloods and the Crips play. The next motherfucker throw some shit out on this stage, gonna have hell to pay. And he brought his hand down on the one and the band hit it. Bam! Then they started chopping like crazy. Ganja K came out. He put his hand up. When his hand go up like that, it's a wrap. Ganja K was killing that gangster shit with chops. Then AC was tippy-toeing on him. Then Mike just came out. Then Jupe hit him with that obscure Jupiter other side of the planet shit. And I'm like, damn, they just murdered. Everybody was quiet. And they just rolled that band, and that band was doing everything. There was guitar solos. There was all kind of shit. I wish there was a tape of that. If there was ever a tape. Right? If there was ever a tape. So I'm like, damn, okay, so it's over now. And I'm out to the side of the stage. I'm like, you know, I'm fresh out of New York. I've been, you know, this was 1992 at the New Music Seminar. So I'm like, damn, we're going to have to fight our way out of here. We're going to have to fight all New York. Because KRS-One, who turned out to be, how can I say this? He did some sucker shit, you know, because he's supposed to be this guy, Mr. Positive guy, you was on Stop the Violence, all this. He came out with Tim Dog to sing Fuck Compton, and that kind of drove the whole anti-West Coast thing. So they was hating on us. We got to remember, we followed KRS-One, we followed him and Tim Dog doing Fuck Compton, and then unknown, unheard of group who really mashed it, Onyx, came out with the bald head. And they were New Yorkers. They was like, you know, that shit was crazy to follow. So I'm like, damn, we gonna fight our way out of here. So as I'm walking out, I heard these two New York dudes talking like, yo, son. I didn't want to hate those dudes, son, but them dudes killed it, man. Fellowship is the real deal, son. I'm like, oh, we safe. you know. So we walk out into the street. Nobody fucks with us. Jupe and Peace go one way. Me, AC, and Mike go another way. It's just three of us, right? And we walking alone in the streets of New York, just leaving. I think it was the old Studio 54 club where they had that at. And we're walking down the street, and we hear this familiar sound. MC with a grumbly voice, and it's no cell phones, no video cameras. It's just us three. And we look around, it's Busta Rhymes and Charlie Brown. I was like, oh, Busta Rhymes and Charlie Brown. Isn't this nice? So they just start having a friendly little cipher. You know what I mean? Friendly little cipher. Just us five, and then maybe about 6 onlookers came up to that cipher. Nobody else but us. Not hardly 10 people there. And them dudes at that time, leaders of the new school, couldn't freestyle. You gotta say it. They was doing written stuff. Getting in a car, gonna go far. No. You know, and he's jumping on, Charlie's jumping on every word Buster say with accents and back and forth. And AC's like, I'm gonna kill him. AC's the most aggressive MC I know. He's always trying to prove himself, and he don't mind jumping in there. And he was styling, he was chopping. They like, damn. And then Mike is a friendly, nice, easygoing guy. He wasn't trying to kill anybody. He's just trying to be nice. And he was being nice, and he was murdering them. He's just Mike and I styling, not even trying to kill him. And I believe that made Buster, that was an eye-opening thing for Buster. He ain't gonna say it was, but I'm gonna tell you, he never sounded like that shit again. He was sounding like, then he started trying to chop. Then he started trying to style. But you notice how when they did that album, the Tribe and all of them, they had all of these people on the album cover, even had the Far Side. Didn't want to have the Fellowship on that piece. I wonder why. Yeah, so and I'm telling you this because I'm there. I lived it. If I swear to God, if I have a stack of Bibles and Qurans, I'll swear on it. You know what I mean? But but that's what happened. Wow. A little freestyle session. It was friendly, but they was getting murdered. They were still doing that line stuff, but it was a wake up call. Buster never sounded like that again. Yeah. He changed it up, and then Charlie Brown got to the chords. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I'm not trying to hate. I'm not hating.
Right.
They're dope, but the truth is the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, that's the truth, because I'll tell you, the first time I heard Freestyle Fellowship, I rhymed, and when I heard them, I said, I wanted to quit, because I'm like, I can't do that. What they're doing is beyond. Like, I always tell people, I'm like, don't you take those four, Micah, AC, Peace, Shelf Jupiter. Those are the best MCs I ever heard. Like, ever. The way that they did, it's a whole another something. It's something else.
It's another level. Like I said, AC alone, lyrically, AC alone can't be touched. Stylistically, an improvisational train of consciousness with jazz chops and melodicism and understanding of jazz. Nobody can touch Mike and I.
Yes.
Self Jupiter, his name is Ornette, and he's like Ornette Coleman. He's just like him. He's breaking all the rules. He's out there, and Peace, like I said, was the most talented young dude with multiple styles. Peace, he could do an album where he never did the same style. I've seen him give people a style. I've seen him do a style, destroy a dude. He's like, you can have that style. I'm done with it. at 16 years old. Like, you can have that one. You could build you a good career off of that. Go on now. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So and honorable mention the bus driver, who I think is the greatest freestyler of all times, because
Mm.
I played with them all, and I love them all, and they all have their own thing, but nobody can go like bus driver can go, like nonstop, like forever,
Yeah.
and with the vocabulary and the chop he has, and he also has a deep understanding of jazz and rhythm, and he's very well studied. And I miss him dearly. I wish I could find him. Bus driver, if you seeing this, call me, boy.
Yeah, because you played on Electricity Is on Our Side, correct?
Yeah, we did. Recorded that right here.
Wow.
I wish I could have had the whole band live and him live, but everything was tracked individually. So the jazz swing element is not up to my standard, but it was a good enough platform for him to do what he did. And he wrote the head, and the beautiful thing is it's dedicated to Richard Fulton of Fifth Street Dicks, who was one of the elders, along with Horace Tapscott, Bill Caldwell, Father On D, who put us all together and gave us a place to do what we do. So Bus Driver wrote the head, but every take he did on the solo was different. He never, it was so, it had to be in the moment. So what you saw on there was a freestyle. It definitely was, you know what I mean? So I got about 5-6 takes. No, that ain't it. That ain't it. Okay, we're going with this. All right, cool.
Wow. Wow. That's so dope. All right, so let's just jump back real quick to Inner City Griots and the Freestyle Fellowship.
Yeah.
And what was it like working on that record?
That was difficult. It was difficult. It was difficult as hell.
I can imagine.
Most of the ideas were sketched out. We had 2 weeks pre-production and 2 weeks to record. And so the pre-production part went well. We formed a production crew between myself and the mighty O-Rock and Mathematics. We called ourselves the Uncrate Brothers. And we did all the stuff that was recorded here on the West Coast. Their manager, Kedar Massenberg, took them to the East Coast, and they did Bullies on the Block. And they took one of my tunes that actually was written by my saxophone player, Randall Willis, and it was a freestyle for Peace, and that was Boundaries. So when we went in the studio here, we recorded Boundaries live in the booth with Peace, and he freestyled. When I thought it was very dope, but for some reason they just went into 6 Tray, which is the first rap song to ever go from 4/4 to 6/8. It had multiple time signatures.
Yeah.
So that's why 6/4 is kind of a tongue in cheek, the 64 Impala, but actually the time was in 6/4, which is same as 6/8.
Right.
So anyway, yeah. Where was I? So yeah, the difficult part of it, we recorded in 2 to 3 different studios. The engineer we had was a rock and roll engineer. He was the engineer for Jane's Addiction. And the people from Ireland chose him, because he had the ability to get to good gear. And I don't know why, he wasn't a hip hop guy at all. So, and at that time I wasn't a trained engineer. I went to school for engineering years later when I was 40 years old. So that shit wouldn't happen again because I didn't have the vocabulary to tell him how we wanted it to sound. You know what I mean?
Right.
It never the sonics to that album was never on the level of what I wanted it to be. You know what I mean? It sounded like an old jazz record, but I think the Far Side's album had a better sonic quality with Eric Serafin because he was a hip hop guy.
Right.
You know, who could have done that album and still made it what it was, but better. Sorry, Matt Hyde, but I'm an engineer now. I know better. It didn't work, player. It didn't work. Anyway, yeah. So with him, you know, trying to put like reverb on everything, and we making him take it off, and, you know, and he had other issues going on. I can't say here because I don't want him to sue me. But you know what I mean. But he had some problems, and you know what I mean. So it was difficult from that standpoint. It was difficult because they didn't know how to record. We didn't know how to record. You know, we just knew what we heard and what we wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
the process would have been sped up with a better engineer that knew how to record what we was trying to do. I did like recording at Crystal Records, which is on Vine by Santa Monica. They had a one-of-a-kind board, no other mixing board like it in the world. War recorded their first 2 or 3 albums there. Duke Ellington even recorded there.
Wow.
A lot of people recorded in that studio. It was a big, beautiful studio. They had real reverb plates and all of that stuff.
Wow.
Stevie Wonder recorded Secret Life of Plants there. You know what I mean? So it was a great studio. You know what I mean? But the guy that was the engineer, and he was like a second engineer that worked there. You know, and he was trying to make James Addition sounding stuff happening to hip hop, and this just wasn't. That's why it didn't bump as hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you know what I mean. But we stayed on him to get it to bump as much as we could, but he had every excuse why it couldn't bump. Pro Tools was not there at that time. We were going to 2-inch tape, but that's no excuse. Far Side had 2-inch tape too. So it is what it is, you know what I mean? But it was a difficult time, you know. Then, you know, with the fellas, everybody wanted to get a solo, and then some people getting more solos than they should have. One person or another person only got one solo, you know what I mean? And then after it was done, they only wanted to put out stuff where the whole group was on it together instead of putting out solo pieces. Like I thought 6 Trey should have been a solo. Park Bench People should have been a solo. You know what I mean? It should have been a single. I think that record would have done way better because Park Bench People was like, a lot of people say it was the first neo soul record ever made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 6 Trey was gangster, but it was groundbreaking in the fact that it was pretty much mostly like the percussion was live. A lot of things was live on 6 Trey. You know what I mean? Mary should have been one. A lot of stuff. We were the first to do like really hybrid live stuff. There was live things on every song, just about every song. So to fill it out, to make it better. But then we did some total live things like Boundaries and Park Bench People, just to show people that, yeah, these do, and record songs that didn't make the album, like with the late great Horace Tapscott. He did Hot, and he did another version of Danger that was all live, and it was amazing jazz performance by those dudes. They put it out. They put out 1 or 2 of them on a couple of their Project Globe records, but you have the great Horace Tapscott, you know, and the A&R Kim Bowie. I ain't gonna get started on her. She's like, the they're out of tune. We want them to do the vocals over again on Danger and Hot. I'm like, no, they can't do the vocals over because it's jazz. It's in the moment. It's spur of the moment. What Horace is playing, he's reacting to what they're saying.
Right.
He's just not playing whatever. It happens at that moment. Mike says something about being on the phone, and Horace makes a telephone noise. Bling, 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 bling. All of these things, you can't reproduce that. So what is a little pitchy? Now with all these mumble rappers, everything is pitchy. You know what I mean? So, they should have released it, but they didn't. Those two would have put them in a whole nother category. You know what I mean? So, and I think going with Island period might have been a mistake. But they gave us freedom, but not in choice. They gave us freedom to do what we do, but not to push forward what we wanted to push forward.
Yeah, gotcha.
Was there any other deals on the table that they could have went to besides Island? Or
yeah, I think there was Def Jam and people like that where everybody wanted to talk to.
Wow.
You know what I mean? We should have been wherever Tribe Called Quest, whatever label they was on, we should have been on that label. You know what I mean? And bring Bob Power out here. Me and Bob been like that was great. Because he would have known what the hell I was talking about. I mean, because I didn't know the science at that time. I didn't know about frequencies and compression and I wanted to sound more blue. What does blue sound like? Whatever. Anyway, that's my bad, not knowing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Because we did everything on 4 tracks. Everything was grimy. We just make on 4 tracks and with little SM58 microphones or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But the thing is, I was taking them into the studio with my own money. I've got records. I got 2-inch tapes of Freestyle Fellowship and The Righteous Family, Ganja K, all of these dudes before they were signed on 2-inch tapes sitting up in my closet. You know what I mean? So I took them in the studio before record companies did. And we would, but the part was we'd have to go at like 2 in the morning for like 2 in the morning to like 5 in the morning, because we're working with a guy who's trying to learn how to work the studio. So he's not really a great engineer. And I'm buying used 2-inch tape and, it's like, man, set it up. We just got to go. We got to go. Get the band in there. Put some mics on there. Put them in there. Blah, blah, blah. 1, 2, 3. Blah, blah, blah. But there's some jewels in there. I have some jewels. I really have some nice records that hopefully one day when I get these tapes baked and transferred, I'll release them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yep. I saw that you play it on another record that I always really loved, that I don't think gets enough props. But Dred Scott's
that's the best recording of myself with a band in a hip hop environment. I always wanted Dred to get on that. I got Osama Fifi on bass, Bobby West on keyboards, and my man on saxophone. God, forgive me for forgetting the name so quickly. It's on the cover, I'm sure. But I really wished. I wanted Dred to rap on that so bad, but they let me talk and they used that shit. I'm like, it's a waste of a good track, dude. You know what I
mean? Calhoun.
Yeah, Rosteen Calhoun. Rosteen. Sorry, Rosteen, my brother.
Yeah, it's such a dope record. I saw somebody on social media actually talking about it today. I was listening. One of the instrumentals came up in my feed earlier, and then somebody was talking about it, and then I was like, "Oh, JMD played on it too." I'm like, "Shit, okay, it's a Dred Scott day."
Yeah, man. And I bought a lot of musicians in the studio that work with other people's, like on the Alcoholics, I bought my bass player in and he played on that shit. Like, do 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 boom 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 boom. You know, it's my bass player. I make room for the beat that booms and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I try to, you know, throw everybody a bone, make it happen any old way we could. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What are some of your other underrated records for you? Like that you think, man, that record didn't get enough love, didn't get enough shine.
Oh man. Oh God. I don't know, man. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. Like, well, what's your number one record? What's your, I mean, you know, because I kind of keep it to myself. I mean, my favorite record is still To Pimp a Butterfly. I mean, it's like the greatest record in not just hip hop, but one of the greatest records ever. You know, I love that album to death. I mean, that to me is the direction I wanted to go to back then.
Yeah.
I was hearing To Pimp a Butterfly and it came out that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
So to me, that's like a dream realized for me. I love a lot of the East Coast stuff. I love you know, those Brooklyn cats. I like Chub Rock, you know what I mean? And, you know, of course I love Tribe, you know what I mean? How could I not? I like, what's his name? Buckshot, you know?
Yeah.
And those, you know, those grimy New York MCs that, you know, it took a while for Guru to grow on me because sometimes he would, his timing wasn't super great. I liked his tone and everything, but he ran, you know, I mean, people get mad at me for saying this, but he ran words together and sometimes he fell off the beat.
Yeah.
You know, but you overlook that because the tracks are so dope with Premier and his sound, and I have a better appreciation for him now. And when I met him, he was a very nice cat. Yeah, may he rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? You know, God, there's many great MCs out there, and a lot of them that never got signed. You know, that is dope. You know what I mean? I love Volume 10. He's one of my favorite sounds.
Yeah.
I mean, the most original MC, and I got some unfinished work with him. You know, sitting on my drive. You know what I mean? I love him to death, man. He's one of the his sound. I always tell him, you sound like a deacon.
Yeah.
You know, him and Peace have that deacon sound. The best rappers could have been deacons in a church. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of course, Ganja K again. You know what I mean? Bus driver. Choo from The Good Life. A style and a flow and a fearlessness. He was my MC for many, many years with my band. Ridlor, another dude like that. Rhyming Red, always get hit with the band. Matter of fact, he was rhyming with me on Scar for Life. Him and Scar was rhyming with us up in Fifth Street Dix when Chick Corea sat in with us.
Wow.
And Chick Corea was fucked up. He couldn't understand it because, like, you know, my keyboard player at the time was Billy Childs, multiple Grammy Award winning Billy Childs, could see that we were doing something in Leimert Park. And he would pay money to have people bring his Fender Rhodes upstairs. And I mean, at the end of the night, we might have $32.25 for the whole band to split. Yeah, he just spent $50 to be there, but he would be there and he would bring heavyweights in like Benny Maupin, Alfonso Johnson, all of these great jazz cats. And he bought Chick Corea in one night. I'm like, dude. And it took us out like, hey, he's like fucking Chick Corea. And like, so the first set, we started trying to play with Chick, and he was chicking out, and he was just like killing us. And it's like, I was like, man, I was like, I got with the rappers, and I was like, look, Chick Corea's got to play with us now, okay? So we started doing our shit. So we started doing our shit, and Chick, I heard, Scar was rhyming, Rib was rhyming, and I heard like, yeah, yeah. And I looked back, and this Chick, he's covered with sweat, and he's screaming and smiling and enjoying himself. And then Chick takes off on this solo, and he's killing it. And then Scar, not knowing that Chick Corea is Chick Corea, like, hold up, piano man, I got this. He cut him off. And he started rhyming. I'm like, oh my God, he cut off Chick. And Chick was totally cool. He's like, no. And then Chick starts screaming, like, yeah. Then Chick is comping behind Scar. Yeah, I wish there was cell phones back then, man. It would have been. And so after the session, Chick with his wife, Gail Moran, Benny Maupin, myself, Richard Fulton, Fifth Street Dicks, Benny Maupin, we standing out there. The gig is over like at 1. We standing in Leimert Park talking about what had just transpired till 4 a.m. And Chick says, you know what? I believe in what you guys are doing. I want you to, I'll pay for your demo. And I was like, for real? Like, yeah, come to my studio. So he invited us over there. We did a demo. I have the demo on 2-inch tape. I bounced it. I had a rough mix. Took it to Capitol Records to, what's his name? Bill somebody, who was the head of Blue Note at that time. I can't remember his name. But the big wig. They heard the demo. They invited us up to Capitol Records. Took the Underground Railroad with Riddler and Tommy Cole and Scar. We was hitting that full strength, killing it, right? But my band was kind of large at full string. I had piano, bass, drums, guitar, saxophone, vibraphone, percussion. That's 7 cats. Then you add in 3 MCs, so it's 10 people total, right? They bought all the big muckety much and the big wigs downstairs, and I thought we did great. I'm like, yeah, this gone. We gonna be on Blue Note. Thank you, Chick Corea. Them fools passed on us and signed Charlie Hunter Trio. I was like so disappointed. I get why. Number one, Charlie Hunter, very dope. I know Shade his way. He's a good dude. He can play his ass off, and he's an innovator. But it was a Charlie Hunter Trio, not the Underground Railroad that had 10 people.
10 people, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you didn't really have to sign the whole Underground Railroad. All you had to do was just get a record of the Underground Railroad. You know what I'm saying? But but look at Kamasi's band. Kamasi's band is like 12 people and a damn choir and an orchestra and all of that.
Right.
And look how they living right now. Kamasi's a millionaire right now.
Yeah.
Even though he got a big ass band, you dig? So, but I was glad to see it come about for him, if nothing else, because he even played. He played in, I had experimental bands, that I would do in between the Underground Railroad. I had a double trio that had, it would be, I had 2 bass players, 2 horn players, myself on drums, and DJ ESP on turntables. So each trio would treat themselves like a turntable that would mix between the 3. So, it'd start off with these, a DJ ESP and the bass player and Kamasi doing something. And then I come in with a beat, and then, the other bass player come in, the other horn player come in, and it blend. And then we mute, drop, do this and back and forth. So Kamasi was playing that band when he was a teenager. He was still going to lock when he was playing with me. Wow. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to see him. If nothing else, at least somebody, him and Terrace, and made it up out of there and have some success out of there, out of all of the people coming out of there, So props to them dudes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're doing the most.
Or can we talk about the song "We Will Never" from Shock Doom record, Freestyle Fellowship?
Was We Will Never that one?
Yeah.
We are not your ORD and I. Oh yeah, they did that acapella in that studio over there. They just re-released it. That was actually recorded on that album. See, there's some. Island put out some single pressings. I have a few of them with alternates of different songs and stuff that didn't come out. There's a different version of what is that? Oh God, they did a video that to this one song that da 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 da. Play it cool and don't let nobody that. Yeah. So they did a video. Yeah. So they did a video of that, and then they released that. But then I had a different remix on it, and then Hot Potato, right? We did Hot Potato. They took the tracks to New York, and then somebody else put all of their music on it and changed it up, right? And that got on the album. And they're like, JMD, you want to do a remix? I'm like, yeah, but I want to do it with some real musicians. So I did a remix of Hot Potato, and that's on a 12-inch put out by Island. I have all those records down there in my collection. They're hard to find. I don't know if you can find them online or whatever, but Island put out a lot of alternate things. So, but that song that was done for that album, and I think they just used the video for that, and it wasn't on that album. Yeah.
Okay.
So we were talking about Daryl Gates beats, false facts, get my gap in the middle of the hat. Yeah. So yeah, all acapella. I wanted to put some drums on that, but
Right.
I still I have the technology. I said I'll do it, and as long as Ultramag 7 does a video of it, I'll put some drums on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, of course, let's do it.
Yeah. All right, that's gonna be the one right there. All right, cool.
There we go.
There you go. Right. Also, were you gonna ask something?
No, well, actually, I wanted to. Actually, I did a couple. I think I did a couple videos, and you were responding on it. It was Watch Stacks, and you were actually at that concert.
Yeah, man, that was.
Story.
Little shorty there, man. Little shorty, man.
Wow.
It seemed like all LA was there. I mean, the Coliseum was full. The only time I seen it that full was when the mothership landed with George Clinton. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was a little shorty back then, man, and it was a beautiful day. It was hot as hell, and I wanted so bad to go down on that field. My mama would not let me go. You know what I mean? But seeing Isaac Hayes roll up in the station wagon, then he got out with the gold chain vest on. That was like some crazy shit. And then seeing, and what was really mind blowing was seeing, because I didn't know about wigs at that time, but seeing homeboy with the big white afro kind of just, wow, he has a big, because I thought my afro was hit, but it was like, whoa, you know what I mean? And Staple Singers and Rufus Thomas showing up. It's funny because I didn't think of, when you say Watch Stacks, you just think about black people. Then when you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, they was all my stepfather's from Memphis. So that was all of that was his music, the same music that he be playing. My stepfather went to high school with Isaac Hayes. And Isaac Hayes was in the band. He played alto sax. And my stepfather was a student body president, and he was the second most popular person in school because Isaac Hayes was the most popular. You know what I mean? So, so So not knowing, all of that was, you find out as you grow older, it's like, oh, that was just awesome, straight Memphis stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a sound, like I would have liked to seen Philly come there, or Motown there, you know what I mean? Because, but we heard it all coming up, all of that music. That's the soundtrack of my life, all of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I was born in '59, so I came in at doo-wop. The first song I remember hearing is Duke of Earl. Duke of Earl. And Cypress Hill sampled that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that's the sound of a man working on the chain gang, you know what I mean? Up on the roof. Early Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions. My uncles put me on to all of that stuff. I'm like a baby then. My uncles, so I'm listening to what my uncles is playing. And then when I'm older, I'm listening to what my mother and my stepfather is playing. You know what I mean? And then, when you get in high school, you have your own taste of music. But the crazy thing is my parents are still listening to the same shit I was listening to in high school. There wasn't no really a big separation in generations like there is now. Like, oh, that's old.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I admit I don't like trap music. You know what I mean? I admit I don't like little baby tiny rappers.
Right.
I can admit that. I don't like mumble rappers. It's just I don't get it. It's not my style. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. So the vibe is just I call that heroin. That's why I just see fools nodding out on the street like. But anyway, no disrespect,
Also, you were around some of the best to ever do it, so
I mean, come on, man. Look,
that's the bar pretty high.
I'm hearing all of that stuff, from West Montgomery to James Brown. I got ants in my pants. I need to dance. And the DJs were better. I gotta say it because, look up the Magnificent Montague. He coined the phrase "burn, baby, burn." So, you got to realize in '65 that's when the Watts riots was going on, right? And Magnificent Montague was the voice of the people. DJ's job was to hip you to shit.
Yeah,
I got this one right here. I'm gonna hip you to this, and and if he has good taste, the music's gonna sound good. So the Magnificent Montague, he had his own theme music. Whitney Houston's mama sang background with the Montague, the Magnificent Montague. You can buy the 45, it'll cost you $10,000. But but the thing about him, he was such a pillar of the Black community, speaking the voice. The government thought when he was saying "burn, baby, burn," he was talking about riot and Watts, because right then the Watts riot had kicked off,
right,
and it was on and cracking because there wasn't no cell phones and video cameras to show what we was going through back then.
Right.
If you'd be shocked. All you see is the black and white pictures of dogs eating people up. They were shooting black people like it was going out of style.
Right.
But so Magnificent Montague, the government, whatever the FCC or whatever, told them, no, you can't say "burn, baby, burn" no more. No, if you say it again, we're gonna set you down. You inciting people to violence and riot and whatever. So everybody heard about that. So you're gonna turn on the radio, KGFJ, and see what's popping. Every black person that night was at the radio like this. Is he gonna say it? Listen. The Magnificent Montague music come on. Montague the Magnificent. All right, this is Magnificent Montague. Burn, baby, burn. Then you hear like he went out like a G though.
Wow.
They're shutting down. They shut him down for a while, but it's like, look, I've been saying this for years. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's how I go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, what as we're bringing this to a close, anything coming up you want to tell people about? What you got going on now?
Man, I'm trying to finish my first little solo EP. I'm trying to enlist the help of all the greats that I've known. It's only going to be on wax, so it's going to be a very limited edition. My plan is simple. I'm going to shoot a video for one song. That'll be the only thing that you can digitally stream. And the video and the music will sound very good. It'll be about love and togetherness and people enjoying the moment. It won't be no depressing shit. It won't be no misogynist shit. It won't be none of that bullshit. It's gonna be like I used to like it, but it's gonna be, it's gonna be like the music I grew up on.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have the dopest MCs that are available, and I have some. I don't want to say their name but it's everybody you like is gonna be on that shit. And
Damn straight.
I'm gonna press up a limited amount of wax, and and then when I sell all of that wax, then I'll digitally release it, because streaming don't pay people. And the only way I can pay the musicians and the artists that's going to be on this is with hard copies, with hard sales. So, I know the culture, people, buying record players again. There are enough people. I think I could tell, you'd be a total failure if you sold 10,000 records with a record company. But if I sell 10,000 out of my house at the price point that I'm asking, then I can pay all my peoples up.
Yeah.
And then we can see about maybe pressing up some more, and then maybe digitally release another or something like that. But if you put my shit on the internet, I'm coming at you like Prince. I'm a studio ass. So that's what it is. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. So all of it, it's for the collectors, the real heads, the DJs, the people who still have record players that want to hear some good music coming over vinyl. I know it's not that time, but I am not going to look around and have 1 million streams and get like $4,000. That's bullshit. I'm not going to be part of that machine.
Nope.
I'm not going to be part of that. I'm gonna stay sucker free, and if it's hard to get, I promise. Look, I'll have my email, you send me the money, you'll get your record that you can touch, you'll be able to read it, you'll see credits, you'll be able to marvel at it. You put it on your record player, you spin it, and then you can brag to your friends. I might even number them. I got number 27. It's autographed by JMD. Yeah, and it's only 10,000 of these. So that's how I'm going.
10,000 actually 10,000 is a lot these days.
Well, then maybe I'll cut it back.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Well, I'm selling them $50 a piece though.
Yeah, but that's still a lot.
That's too many. Okay, I'll take your advice on. All right, I'll cut it back to maybe 1,000, and I'll sell them for $100 a piece.
There you go.
I mean, look, the Project Blowed record, I was downtown. The double album Project Blowed, I was downtown years ago at this record shop / barber shop, and they were selling it for $100.
Wow.
Yeah. So okay. Thank you for that advice. I'm gonna heed that.
No problem.
1,000 for 100 a piece.
Yeah.
I could pay my.
There you go. There you go.
We do runs.
Thank you. Yours is going to be free. All 4 of you guys getting the free one for having me on here, and they'll be autographed. And so you don't even trip. I got my loved ones. I'm gonna take care of them. Yeah, you dig. So I mean, I have a list of people. I'm being like Santa Claus, you dig, with the beard. There's gonna be a few gifts for the ones who've been nice and not naughty. Dig. All right.
Jay, where can people follow you at?
I'm on Instagram at OG_JM Daryl Moore. So that's OG_JMDARRYLMOE. My original one, JMD 135, got hacked, and punk ass Instagram won't let me get my shit back. You know what I mean? So I've tried, and that's where all my good content is. But don't go there because that guy's a hacker. He'll get you.
Yeah.
You dig? So, but yeah. So go to the new one. You know, I appreciate the follows and stuff. My page is private, so only way to see what I got on there is to follow me or him, you know, because I'm very I'm not with the hack sucker shit. I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know, you dig?
Well,
So I like to keep my circle small.
Word. I just followed you, and we have a special guest in the house.
Yeah.
The guy that
wanted to say something.
Yeah, he wants to say something. And the guy that also said in the chat earlier he wants to direct your music video. Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the show, Vashawn Q in the place.
Yeah! What's up? What's up, man? Hey. Check it out.
Yeah.
That's for your pops. That's for your pops, man.
Thank you.
That's for pops right there, baby. Yeah.
Thank you. You know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I love this kid, man. He's a good cat, man. Yeah, when you gonna start directing, man? What's happening, man? I want to be in one of your movies.
When you give me the word.
Word.
Listen, JMD, I owe you so much.
Nah,
I do, because we've always had conversations via Facebook, inbox. I've learned so much about Los Angeles. I've learned so much about not just hip hop music, but just music in general. And we've always had a great rapport. We talked about Bumpies. You remember that place?
Yeah.
When my father passed, you, Def Jeff, and Daryl Paris of LA Posse were the first people to call. You were the first. And you're like, hey, Vashawn, you got to be a man now. And your dad's not here. I forgot what you said verbatim, but you gave me encouragement. And I said, man, I don't know how I'm going to meet Daryl, because I will call you and your line go straight to voicemail, or you're out of town because I know you fix planes and stuff, so you're constantly working. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for the condolences and for your insight and everything, and being a fan of the Lockers. Shit. So,
hey, man, look here, man. Your daddy raised you well, man. So I knew that apples don't fall far from the tree. You know what I'm saying? And he was an entrepreneur with his stuff, and he was an artist, and he did shit his way. And I see you've always been that way anyway. You do things your way, man. And, you do it, man. And I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of the man you became. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, your daddy's like one of them people that raise you up, just from afar, because you just, you idolize them and you see the talent, but breaking was different than locking. The
right.
breaking shab was a whole, right. That was what everybody else did. See, I knew Penguin. I knew Shabadoo. I knew Fluky Luke. I didn't know Rerun.
Right.
Fred Berry hated it with being called Rerun. You called me Fred or called me Penguin. You know what I'm saying? So, and we would literally follow them around, man. Where they gonna be at? The Blueberry Hill? I'm gonna go steal some moves, because you got, girls like to see dudes get down on the floor and dance and stuff. That's another thing. Y'all don't dance no more. You kids, shame on you. You're missing out. That's why you ain't got no love, because you can't dance.
Right.
What's the latest dance, kids? Tell me. You don't
Right.
even know because you
No,
don't even have them.
right. But
But yeah, man, it's that's part of my upbringing, man. It's the soundtrack and the visual of my life. I mean, come on, Soul Train, man, come on,
right.
Pots dance on Soul Train.
Right.
That's
And mom.
who was it? Yeah, mine too. Yeah, I mean, where was everybody on Saturday morning watching Soul Train? That's it. That was it. You have no business doing nothing else. You realize how many chores you had to get done before you could go watch. You'll be cleaning the whole damn house, house, pan, scrubbing everything clean, because your mama wasn't gonna let you watch Soul Train until your shit was straight. So
Right.
Soul Train kept the house clean, kept you with good grades, because you wanted to see what was happening. You want to see the latest and greatest artists. You want to get the latest dances. You wanted to see people actually perform live back in them days. They would actually, I mean, James Brown never lip synced on Soul Train ever. You know, that shit was live every time. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Again, apples and trees, baby. You know what I mean? And I see you still being, doing big things, brother. So God bless you, man. Thank you for acknowledging that.
Just so you know, too, me and one of your fellow good lifers do a podcast together. We do movie review. Sue.
Who's that? Who?
Sue.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
We've been doing it for over 2 years now, maybe 2.5 years now.
Okay, get me on there. I love to talk, as you can see.
I told you, we do around midnight. You're on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, send me the link so I can check you out, man.
Okay, we'll do.
Yeah.
We'll do.
I'm gonna start a podcast one day. I'll probably have like 5 listeners.
Especially Ultra Bag. All you up top, especially my man with the clips. I'm like, every time I wake up in the morning, about 5 clips be up there.
Whoa.
I'm like, how do we do it, man? Like, how do you? I just want to look over your shoulder on the technical.
Yeah,
it's like the art is the thing. The art, what the end result is the art, but the technical, how he making that happen. I mean, I'm gonna just imagine you like on the internet surfing for shit. Like, I gotta find that. Oh, you know what I mean?
I was watching a movie today.
I can tell you, he for Yag Fu Front.
Oh yeah, with the dog.
He said there was a movie back in oh man, and it was all about dogs. What was the name of that movie? I said dogs.
Doberman Gang.
It was dogs.
It's dogs.
Dogs.
And that worked perfect.
He be finding stuff that he finds stuff that I've seen as a child at the Compton Drive-In. Though that's what kills me.
It was the craziest thing, because in this record they said something about Rim 5.5, the dog with 2 legs in the front and 1 in the back, and he found that stupid clip with a 3-legged dog.
Yeah.
No, but you choose certain clips because you had watch stacks, but then you had the beat that's, are you ready for it? Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So it matches the song and the sample.
Perfectly.
Yes.
Right. So I was like, okay. But after a while, I couldn't keep up. But brother, you be having clips up there. It'd be like 5 of them.
Thank you.
And it makes me see the possibility of composing to clips like that, because that's exactly what you're doing.
Right.
You're making video and audio compositions, and that's just some forward thinking, man. That's like, come on, man. Shoot, you gotta go digging on some of those old drive-in movies, man. Cotton Comes to Harlem, Ice Station Zebra, whatever. All that shit. The Dirty Dozen.
Yeah. Alistair, that's a what's that? Alistair McLean, I believe. Ice Station Zebra with Jim Brown and
with Jim Brown when they shot him at the end. I was mad as fuck.
I hate how
Well, they always shoot your brother in the movie, man. You know, so
But one movie, and I know we're getting off here, but one movie that Jim Brown did that I absolutely love, and a lot of people don't get it for credit. It's called The Split, where it's based on a Richard Stark novel called The Seventh. And brief history: Mel Gibson has played this character. Lee Marvin has played this character. They're based on a series of books.
Yeah. Parker.
Parker books, and it's called
Yep.
The Seventh. But they did it called The Split. But it was a sequel to Lee Marvin's Point Blank in the 60s. So he's actually playing the same character. But Jim Brown is so cool in this movie. You had Donald Sutherland, you had Warren Oates,
Oh shit.
Ernest Borgnine, Jack and Quincy
McHale
Jones
Navy.
score.
Right.
Quincy Jones score. And
Okay.
it's so badass that you have this one brother that's controlling. I gotta be real. This crew of white men to pull this heist, and and Jim Brown is manipulating the whole thing. So
I gotta find that one.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Gene. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. What was that? The one with the trains with the Gene Hackman, Paladine 1, 2, 3 or something like that.
That was
Walter Matthau. Yeah.
Taking a
And,
Pelham.
Oh, wow.
Robert Shaw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Gene Hackman was on another one of those movies with his little snub nose doing some dirty work on that. You know what I mean?
French Connection.
Yeah.
French Connection. Yeah.
That's what it was. What it was.
But there is a connection between those two movies, and that's Owen Rosman, who's no longer alive, the cinematographer.
Yep.
Yeah. But the Taking a Pal 1, 2, 3, my dad was going to film school at the time. And Quentin Tarantino was huge. Everybody wanted to be Quentin in the 90s. Everybody wanted to be Quentin.
Right.
And my dad said, Sean, I just seen a movie you'll love. It's called The Taking a Pal 1, 2, 3. I said, what's it about? He goes, it's a heist. There's Mr. Blue, Mr. Green, Mr. Gray, Mr. all this, right? You'll love it.
Oh, that's where he stole that from.
Yep.
And I sat there and I was floored. This movie was just like, it got me into 70s cinema real quick. So I started watching a lot of movies from the 70s, especially MGM. MGM was cranking them out like crazy. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's my little dad story. So right there. So Taking a Pal 1, 2, 3.
Taking a Pal 1, 2, 3. Yep.
But Dale, thank you so much, man.
Hey man, no problem, brother. You're one of my favorites, baby. Hit me up anytime. I'm at home. My number ain't changed, man. You know what I mean? I sometimes I've been working out of state doing aircraft stuff, but I'm trying to retire from that mess right now. I was slated to go to Idaho next week. I'm like, oh hell no. Yeah, Hayden, Idaho for several months. I'm not doing it. It's a wrap. I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna try this acting thing a little bit more. I get a couple little parts here and there, keep the lights on. You dig? So I'm working on my acting chops, y'all.
Word.
I've been acting like a drummer and acting like a producer so long. I can act like other things.
Jay, real quick though, family. I met Ernest Dickerson finally.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, he's a friend of mine. We good.
Right. Please put me in contact with that brother because I went to Egyptian theater. He was at a Q&A, and he and his lovely lady. I walked up on him and I introduced myself, and he got into a stance. I'm like, hey. Well, man, I was like, yo, Ernest, I just wanted to, talk to you for a bit. I said, I do a podcast. Love the interview. These are some of the people that I've interviewed. I've interviewed Monty Ross, all these people, right? And he's like, well, I got to talk to my lady. And so she gave me an email, and I emailed her this passionate, compassionate letter, and, still ain't heard from her. So I'm like, well, damn. I know you live somewhere near them, but if there's any way you can patch me in to or give me the cosign saying, "Oh, this brother's good. He knows his stuff." Just to
next time I see Ernest, I'll make sure you get invited to the party. We go to this. We got a friend, film composer Stanley Smith from Compton. Ernest Dixon's cool as fuck, man. Cool as fuck. And we like to kick back, open on up. You dig, and you get some really great stories from him, man. He told me all of the behind the workings and Juice and all of that with Tupac and all of that. How he was going to be reading for a whole nother part, man. When he read for Bishop, he was just okay. That's it. We got him. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna even waste no time. You know what I mean? So Ernest is real cool, man.
He was on a live stream on IG. I questioned him so much and knew about his work that he goes, "Who is this dude in IG?" Because we talked about when I brought up that he was supposed to direct Seven. He was like, "How'd you know that?" People forget he co-wrote Blade. Never got credit. All the ideas that you see of Blade 1, all Ernest. I know about all that stuff, martial arts. So I would just love to chop it up with him for at least whatever he.
All right. Next time I get the little invite to go to Stanley, I'm gonna say, "Can I bring a friend?" And you can, and you won't have to ask Ernest nothing because he just opens up like when he's cool and he's chilling, man. He's a real chill kid, brother. Because he just like we just sit up and talk, have a cold one, eat good food. You know what I mean? Just regular. He's a regular brother, but he got some good stories, bro. Really good stories. And he's worked with my wife a lot on a couple of projects as well. On I think he directed a few episodes of what was that? Westworld.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, but he just fly in and do it, bounce, because they have different directors and stuff. He's a cat for hire, man. He don't have to always do a movie. He do TV shows, whatever. He got to keep the lights on like everybody else. You dig? But he knows his shit. He knows his shit. For real.
Oh yeah. I know.
He's the Muhammad Ali of directors for sure. They'll do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Vashawn, because
sir.
I can't think of it right now, and I know you'll know it. What was the film he was the DP on with Ray Parker Jr.?
Enemy Territory.
Thank you. Yep, I knew you would know it.
And
Vashawn just has this weird Rolodex in his head.
Yep.
And that was Die Hard before Die Hard.
Yes, it was. Yep.
Because Ray Parker Jr. is like a New York cop, and he has no shoes on and socks.
Ray Parker Jr., the guitar player?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was like a handyman or something. Wasn't he a handyman?
Right. No. Telephone man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what it was. That's what it was.
Telephone man. And they had a scene where he's hanging out the building with like the sheet tied around him, and he smashes through the window. Yeah. It's like somebody, Stephen E. D'Souza, had to be over there looking at this movie. Said, "You know what?
I'm sure.
I met Ray back in the '80s, man, when him and Ollie Brown had a studio over there across from the original In-N-Out Burger. Oh. And so that's my first time ever having In-N-Out Burgers was over there at the studio up in the valley and stuff. Real cool cat, can real stupidly funky on the guitar, man.
Oh wow!
Oh, he can play the hell out the guitar. And Ollie Brown was his drummer and Stevie's drummer, and Ollie was actually the producer of my homie's band called Tease. This is some '80s stuff that everybody was biting Prince. It didn't take off, but he did.
But also Ollie Brown of Ollie and Jerry, right?
Maybe, I don't know. Shoot, Ollie Brown. He could play so good, he could produce so good, but he just started getting wherever he's about money. Right. I hear he's like a real estate mogul now, and he don't even fuck with music. Yeah, he's like, I'm making too much money selling property. You know?
Got you. Well, I won't take up too much of you guys' time, but JMD, thank you. C-Doc, thank you. Ultra Bag.
Thanks for coming through.
Jenny,
yeah, thank you for having me.
Sean, you don't have to leave, but we'll just end the show. All
right.
Okay. And while I'm here, Chuck, you keep ducking me.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, hell, I'm a hard person to reach. Every Tuesday, I see you up here. So
I'm surprised he didn't stop in tonight, actually.
Yeah, so. I know. I need that interview, bro, because I've been hunting Chuck.
We'll get there.
Chuck hunting.
Yo, talk to C-Doc. Yo, C-Doc, he knows.
Yeah, I like how he throws it on me. I don't know your schedule. What the hell?
Dude, I'm like, Chuck, I'm standing right in front of you. If you can do it, you can. If you can't, great. I'll go. But I'm putting it out there. So, brother Chuck, if you're watching, I need that interview. I already know the film we want to talk about, but I'm gonna save it until he gives the yes.
I'll make a clip of that and put it on the page.
There you go.
We'll tag Chuck and Sean. We'll make it happen.
Hey, I need that interview. You know.
Yep.
But
real quick,
we're gonna play a quick game right quick.
Uh-oh.
Stick with me for 2 seconds.
Okay.
It's gonna be called What Song Is This? I'm going downstairs here. Hopefully I don't trip and fall. Getting old.
Please don't do that.
No, I'm just, got a couple of issues with my ankle and stuff, and Father Time and arthritis. Yeah. But other than that, let's see.
Soulbuck.
Oh yeah, Soulbuck in the house.
Yes.
So,
snap.
What song is this? What song is that?
I'm throwing it in the town. Let me call Lifeline.
Yeah. All right. That is called Parkman's People. Remember how it started?
Yeah.
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 All right. What is this one? That's the first thing you hear on the Far Side's album.
I was gonna say the For Better For Worse intro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Dun,
For Better
dun, 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 dun.
Damn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boom.
All right. How about this one? How about this? Who's next?
If I were president, we're president, I'd make sure all the money's spent
on
good things.
Yeah, see?
Yep.
Let's see. All right, this one you got to get this. Come on now. Boundaries.
Yeah. Woo.
Let me just give the cop out answer. That was before my time, so I don't know.
Hell no. You was alive. You copped out. You was in the mix for real. Yeah.
That's the FF.
Nah, I just wanted to play a little bit for y'all, man. Just let you know I still can.
Thank you.
Yes, no problem, man. No problem. Not at all. Jesus up there looking at me.
As we wrap things up, Ultra, you want to tell everybody about our sponsor?
I don't have the can, but our sponsor is Hackensack Brewing, and they have a beer called Auga that was a part of the Awesome 2. That's the beer that represents them. But if you were around this weekend, if you were at Hackensack Brewing, you would have saw Melly Mel. You would have saw Russell Peters. You would have seen Russell Peters DJ while Melly Mel was rhyming.
Wow.
It was I wasn't there. I wish I was there. But
wow, man. I mean, he's the game changer, man. Melly Mel, come on.
Yeah.
And Mel had a shirt on.
That's when I really took hip hop serious. Melly Mel made me take it serious. It wasn't just all fun and games and kid and play when I heard Melly Mel.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah. But Hackensack Brewing, check them out. Auga, awesome too. That's what's up.
And the show is also brought to you by the Spit Slam Record Label Group. The Spit Slam Record Label Group, a Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spit Slam Record Label Group. Throwback to the future sound. All right. Yes, indeed. And you can catch... shout out to our homie Flatline, who couldn't be with us tonight, but shout out to Flatline and the Hip Hop God Show. There's a new episode tonight, I believe. He was playing some new music, good stuff. And he and I and Mr. Chuck D, you can hear us every Friday for the Angie Don't Stop radio show on Rap Station and the Mixcloud. And you can catch Ultramag, JOJ, and DJ Soulbuck every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Channel 0 for the mixtape, where the Soulbuck spins the music of our next week's guest. And who's coming up next week?
Well, I don't even know if I should say, but it might be somebody that Daryl just mentioned, DJ Wiz from Kid and Play.
DJ Wiz from Kid and Play. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So join us next week as we talk to Wiz and check out Soulbuck spinning the tunes on Sunday. So, and Vashon and Jay, if you guys want to hang out till after the credits roll.
Okay, and shout out to Chuck G. Chuck D, you're the greatest, man. You're the greatest, man. You got one of those deacon voices too. Remember, I'm the one who bought you the Project Blog, Chuck. You don't remember back in the day, like early in the 90s. I bought you in there. It was me, this old dude. I love you, man.
Word. That's what's up. Yes. So yeah, and then join us next week right here, Tuesday night. Please like and subscribe. Check out the Bring the Noise app and follow us on Instagram and Facebook and wherever the hell else we are. So
wherever the hell else we are.
Wherever the hell else we are.
Wow.
And thanks for watching us live, watching on the replay. We'll see everybody next week for another episode of It's C-Doc again.
See ya.